Hello and welcome to the ScatterVolt channel, and today we're going to be talking about the best and worst graphics cards to get for the month of November, knowing that Black Friday and Cyber Monday are coming up. So I want this GPUs of the month video to accomplish two things. One, of course, to advise on graphics cards to get and which ones to avoid, especially going into this holiday season, and knowing how discounted these graphics cards can get, since thankfully Amazon Prime Day and some other deals from last month kind of gave us a little preview of what's to come, but also some expected prices I have in mind for each of my graphics card recommendations. So I'll be listing a current price and an expected price. And my expected price is what I like to call the price where you can absolutely go all in on a graphics card purchase, knowing you're getting it at the lowest cost possible to maximize the most of your value. So as usual, I'll be starting off with the cheapest graphics cards and working my way up to the most expensive, and all of the graphics cards I talk about in this video can be found in the description below, along with PCBuilds.gg, which is a really cool tool you can use to find the best PC build list possible at different price ranges and different uses. So that's a really cool website on top of all these other graphics cards I'll be talking about throughout this video. Okay, this is the point of the video that I'm gonna quickly say it would be greatly appreciated if you could hit the like button. And you may be asking, why should I hit the like button? Well, the simple reason is because we need it. We need it. A bunch of people are about to make their graphics card buying decision potentially for the first time this month. And in that case, I hopefully want to get this video out to as many of them. So yes, a like would be greatly appreciated. So I'll stop, let's get on to the video. So first, let's start with the best graphics cards you can buy under $100, and this is actually super simple to find. Seriously, it's so simple. All I want you guys to do is to type in java.gg, type in the name of the graphics card you're looking for, or you can just click on all graphics cards, set your max price to 100 bucks, and well, bam, there you go. This is a really great website for finding some of the best graphics card deals under $100. Let me see, is there a good one that I like in here? I like this GTX 1070 FE for under 100 bucks with free shipping. I do like that. RX 590 for dirt cheap for 75. That I would agree is dirt cheap. Are there any others? Well, you got that, and of course you have Facebook Marketplace, which is also super duper obvious. Just type in graphics card. You can set the max price to 100, and wha-bam, GTX 960 for $23. Need I say more? You cannot find a new graphics card for under $100 that is worth it. They're not that great. I can see them right now on my shelf to the left of me. They are not great. They definitely have drawbacks, whereas these, they may, but they're so damn cheap, it's worth it. But from $100 to $200, there are three graphics cards I'm really looking out for. The first one being the Intel ARC A580. This one I'm gonna keep an eye on going into Black Friday and Cyber Monday, because right now it's retailing for about, I think, $180. Yes, about $180, but the last time I saw this card on a discount, it got to as low as $160, which is all right, but knowing Black Friday and Cyber Monday, my expected price for the ARC A580 will hopefully be $150 or less. Because if that is the case, this is already going into that territory of really excellent graphics cards for well under $200 brand new. And the A580, even if it's an Intel GPU, is no slouch. It's gotten plenty of updates over the years. It's more refined than what it was on launch. And the hardware you're getting for this price, I think, is very substantial. 8 gigabytes of VRAM with a 256-bit memory bus. In my opinion, better ray tracing than AMD in this budget price range. Better than, say, like RX 7000 versus like an RX 7600 versus maybe an A750. And it also includes the AV1 codec, which is really useful for video editors and content creators if you want the latest and greatest codec. And this is the cheapest GPU that offers it for under 200 bucks. So I would get the A580 if you can get it for $150 or below. If it's below that, oh man, that would be even crazier. But there's a graphics card that I think will have an even better discount, which would be worth getting over this. And that is its bigger brother, the A750. So right now this is retailing for about $200. Get just about $200, $190. And I think this GPU can see an even bigger discount. I think the A750 can get down to $160 this Black Friday. And if that happens, absolutely pick this up over an A580. I think overall it will be the best GPU to buy under $200 with a discount, barring one other one, but I don't think it's gonna go below 200. So the A750 is really similar to the A580. 8 gigabytes of VRAM, 256-bit memory bus, AV1 codec, really excellent performance, but it's got a bit more oomph to it. Now, at the expense of definitely having a lot more power draw. That is the one main drawback to these ARC GPUs, other than them being Intel GPUs, so they might not have the best day one support for brand new PC titles. But if you're not eager to play the latest and greatest PC games on day one, these ARC GPUs do a good job in DX12, DX11, and even quite a few DX9 games, despite being a newer graphics card. So I think of all the three I'm gonna cover below 200 bucks, A750 is gonna be on my watch list, especially if it gets down to $160. And the other obvious GPU in this price range that is gonna see a discount, but I don't think it's gonna be anything crazy, is gonna be the RX 6600. This is also a decently well-rounded GPU, also 8 gigabytes of VRAM, also a great 1080p gaming graphics card. My thing is that over time, we've seen these Intel ARC GPUs get better and better with optimizations for their drivers to where they're faster than this. And really the only thing that this graphics card has over these is power draw. So if you care about power draw, RX 6600, but if that isn't too much of an issue for you, say if you live in an area where energy isn't too expensive, the A750 is gonna provide you probably the most FPS per dollar under 200 bucks, which being better than AMD, that's a big statement. Oh, but there's some other graphics cards. Well, there's only one more. Under $300 you're gonna need to avoid. Sorry, under 200 bucks. That's this one. The 3050, it's slow. It's got 6 gigs of VRAM. It's not even RTX 4000. It can't even take advantage of Nvidia's own premier frame generation technology. And don't think I'm gonna let the 8 gig slip as well. The 3060 8 gig, which probably is gonna go on a discount below $200, still not worth picking up. All of these GPUs I just listed beforehand are gonna smoke a 3050. No amount of DLSS will save this graphics card. It just does not have the raw power. And as a matter of fact, if you wanna talk about efficiency, the RX 6600 draws less power than a 3050, yet destroys it in gaming performance. The 3050 is also a no-go, even into Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Okay, so for below $300, we actually have a lot of GPU options to choose from, and I already know a few that are gonna go on some really nice discounts going into Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but until then, you're still gonna wanna avoid this thing, the RTX 3060. TLDR, it's slow. I don't care if it has 12 gigabytes of VRAM, it's still slow. And if we were to check prices right now on Newegg, despite being almost, I wanna say 3 years old, it still retails for like $285. It's pretty much stayed at that price point since late 2022. It's not budged down. And during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, this GPU is probably not going to receive a discount. It could actually, because it is going out of production. But even with a discount, it's still not gonna be worth it because you're gonna wanna consider any of these graphics cards over it. Which I think the one that is going to go on the biggest discount of all of these is going to be the RX 7600, which currently is a GPU I don't recommend. Why is that? Well, it's for one simple reason. It's also kind of slightly slow for its price, in my opinion. Right now, if we were to check up on Newegg, this thing is going to be retailing for about $260, $250, $255. That is all right, but I think my standards for recommending a graphics card with 8 gigabytes of VRAM have gotten so high to where I won't recommend it if it costs more than say $250. But I have seen the RX 7600 go on some really nice discounts during Prime Day this fall and in the summer. So my prediction is that if this GPU reaches at least, not at least, at most $230 or less, I would probably pick this up. And I would say absolutely no question if it's $220. Because if it's at $220, then that puts it right in the cross eyes of the 6650 XT, which offers nearly the same performance as a 7600, but the 7600 offers the AV1 codec, and it also comes with the updated architecture versus this, which can allow for AMD's future potential frame generation technology using AI, which is FSR4, that won't be supported on these older RX 6000 GPUs. That is a bit of future proofing on the RX 7600. And come Black Friday, Cyber Monday, if either of these GPUs are the same price, no brainer, pick up the 7600, because at that point, it's gonna be about a $220 1080p gaming graphics card that will actually be worth its money. But otherwise, at $250, it is not worth getting right now. Wait for the discounts. What also isn't worth getting right now, I'm letting you know it's not going on a discount, unfortunately, is the RTX 4060. Why is it not gonna go on a discount? Because Nvidia never really discounts their 60 series GPUs in the current gen. I saw the 3060 during Black Friday and Cyber Monday years ago. It had an MSRP of $330. It never went below $300. It never did. The 4060 has an MSRP of $300, and if we were to check Newegg right now, yeah, 300, 305, 300, 305. Oh, you know what? Newegg's doing something. Is Amazon doing it as well? Let's double check. There may be a conflict of interest here. Yeah, there is. Okay, here's the issue. I have seen the RTX 4060 go for as low as 285 or even 280. But right now, Newegg, I think, is doing some price fixing, and Amazon, because it's crept back up to about 300, 295. And if this thing is on discount for 285 or 280, that's not a better discount than what I saw during Prime Day this fall and in the summer. I would say I wouldn't even say expected price, but the most optimistic price I'm hoping the 4060 lands for during Black Friday and Cyber Monday would have to be $250. And no more. Even if it's 260, I'm not really going to consider that, because at that point, I think an RX 7600, which will reach 230, 220, will be a better buy versus the 4060. So if it's 250, I will plug this thing in during my Black Friday deals video. But if it's not, I'm not even bothering. The 4060, while being good for 1080p, I think it's gonna show its limits at 1440p and above, because once again, it has an 8GB VRAM amount, which for cheaper graphics cards, that's okay. But for a graphics card that currently retails for about 300 bucks, that's not optimal. That isn't gonna last you a whole lot longer than other graphics cards that come with more VRAM, especially with some of these other ones I'm gonna be covering. So the 4060, it needs to go on a Hail Mary discount, and I don't see it happening. I don't think the 4060 is gonna be a valuable pickup this Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I hope I'm wrong, but if it reaches 250, I would be over the moon. But I don't think it's gonna happen. But now let's talk about these two. These two are definitely going to go below $300. And let's start with the RX 6700 XT. Now, heads up on Newegg, the 6700 XT is not really there anymore, because as I predicted, it was gonna get slowly kind of taken out of stock because it is an older GPU. And as you can see, that's clearly not under $300. But if we were to zoom over to Amazon, well, actually, same thing. The 6700 XT is gone. It is done. We're putting this thing up for good. And in its place for now, although this isn't right now below 300, but I'm pretty sure it is gonna go below 300, I'm gonna have the RX 6750 XT take its place. On Amazon, you can pick this up for about $335. What about from XFX? Because XFX, they definitely bring in the deals for their 6750 XT. Let's take a look. $330, yeah. I expect XFX, Power Color, and okay, for the moment, just XFX and Power Color to discount their 6750 XTs at $300 at most, but I think I've seen them go for as low as $290 on Amazon. And what about on Newegg? I think only XFX is offering on Newegg. Yeah, $330, that's definitely, you're gonna see this for below $300 during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. That's gonna be the last time you could possibly pick up a 6750 XT. That also is gonna be a great deal, but I would really like to see the 6750 XT go really low and reach $270. That is going to be my optimistic price for the 6750 XT, because at that point, I think it'll clearly be the better buy over the 7600 XT, which will cover cover in a bit, because we've seen this GPU touch 290 during different prime days this fall and summer, but for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, if AMD really want to go all out and send this GPU off for good, it's got to hit $270. And at that point, it's going to be the most bang for your buck 1440p gaming graphics card on the market, other than one other one, which we'll cover later in the video. So 6750 XT is one to look out for as well. I think just about any AMD graphics card will. But this one, the 7600 XT, this one is probably gonna be, my expected price is no less than $300, which is okay, but I wish it was lower, because the 6750 XT is a faster graphics card, even if it has 4 gigabytes less of VRAM in 1440p gaming. And yes, while this has 16 gigabytes of VRAM, that is honestly nice. It's not exactly real. Well, I wouldn't say real, but there's more expensive graphics cards that also come with 16 gigabytes of VRAM, but they come with much bigger memory buses at 256 bits versus 128 on this. However, I can't complain that much because this is about $300, 16 gigs, and this amount for a card is totally forgiving, even if it's a smaller memory bus, which does help it out in gaming benchmarks versus even the 6750 XT, especially those with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. I just don't see this graphics card going on a really good discount. AMD is just reluctant to it. I don't think it's gonna go below 300, which in that case, the 6750 XT would have to be my bargain buy over this, but I hope I'm wrong. But I don't see the 7600 XT going on a really good discount. Now from $300 up to $500, things are gonna get really interesting. So I'll go ahead and start off with this one graphics card. I did not expect to come back from the dead, but you can in fact get one. It's really weird. In fact, let's check Amazon. Or Newegg. Yeah, it's not there, but if we check on Amazon, it will be there. ASRock, for some reason, have decided to bring back the RX 6800 XT into their lineup, which I find very odd. This is already kind of on my radar because I think this GPU is gonna go on a really nice discount for below 400 bucks. Now, how much, I actually don't know, because again, this GPU, it just got brought back in stock only by ASRock, only on Amazon US. I don't know if this applies for outside the United States, but that's very odd. And honestly, it almost makes my recommendation for another graphics card later in this segment a little bit more confusing, because if we check out benchmarks between this and the 7800 XT, in terms of raw performance, they're almost matched. Or some may say they're pretty much on par. With 16 gigabytes of VRAM, a really fast GPU core, and honestly maybe the only drawback is that it does consume a decent amount of power, so if you're concerned about power efficiency, this may not be it. But even then, the sheer raw performance you get for the money and hardware is a bit too undeniable. So below $400 is where I think it'll go, but it could be less, because ASRock wouldn't want to do this because they'd be cannibalizing the sales of the other graphics card that is also really popular in this price range, the RX 6800. This right now, also again, I think is an Amazon only deal. And if we were to check, $350, that is, if it's $350 right now, 3 weeks out from Black Friday and Cyber Monday, that's on my radar. I think the graphics card that is going to be the absolute best buy this Black Friday and Cyber Monday is gonna have to be the RX 6800. So yes, the 6800 XT that I just covered could be below 400, but if this is already at 350, and if it goes below that to like 330, that's gonna cannibalize sales of the RX 6750 XT, RX 7600 XT, and the RTX 4060. I don't know what XFX is thinking, but putting that card at 350 right now, that's red alert. That is super mega deal territory. So RX 6800, for those of you who are looking for the absolute best bang for your buck 1440p gaming graphics card, not this 6750 XT anymore. I'm gonna discard what I just said a few minutes earlier. Look into this. It has even better hardware. It also has 16 gigabytes of VRAM, which has a 256-bit memory bus, not the smaller 128, say found on the 7600 XT. And unlike the 6800 XT, yes, it's slower, but the power consumption on this is a lot more tamed. So if you're worried about efficiency, this will do better. But the price is what I'm most looking forward to. If this thing hits 330, I'm gonna insta plug this into my deals video because that will be insanely good. Insanely good, actually. If this is 330, let's go and talk about the next one. That is going to make this graphics card look bad, the 7700 XT. If we check pricing for the 7700 XT right now, I think it's gonna land anywhere from like, yeah, 390 to 400. Newegg right now, and I think Amazon as well. Let's double check this. Okay, so Amazon and Newegg, from my knowledge, are putting the price of this graphics card back up to where it kind of was when there were no deals and such. So although this is probably gonna go back on a discount, maybe hit 350 or 360, I wouldn't really consider that like a crazy end of the year Black Friday and Cyber Monday deal. I would only really sound the alarm for this graphics card if it's going at the same price as the RX 6800 that we just saw. Because this graphics card, it could see a price of $350, but if I really want to have a good deal on this, it's gotta be $330. Otherwise, that 6800 for less is going to be the absolute better buy. And like I said earlier, we'll cannibalize the sales for this graphics card. Again though, the 7700 XT, still gonna be a decent pickup for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It just has 12 gigabytes of VRAM versus the 16 on the 6800. The 6800 is slightly faster. It may be older, but that extra 4 gigs of VRAM could be useful a few years from now. So the 7700 XT really needs to go on a discount, because if we see this thing hit at lowest 350 or even 370, that's not gonna be a crazy good deal. So the 7700 XT, I'll watch it, but it's not gonna be on my radar. I don't think this thing is gonna see a really good discount, whereas the 6800 will. Let's go ahead and stop talking about AMD. And let's talk about some, I'm not speaking on behalf of the brand or the card, but the actual GPU itself. Let's talk about mediocrity. The RTX 4060 Ti. You know what? I don't even check the price of this graphics card anymore because it's so ASS, especially the 8 gig version. Let's see, are Amazon and Newegg doing any price fixing? They are. Yeah. So the MSRP for the 4060 Ti is $400. Right now, this is chilling for just below 400. So whenever they discount this graphics card, it's not, I don't think it'd be a better deal than what it was, say, during Prime Day last month or in the summer. Is that gonna hold true for Newegg as well? Do we see any 4060 Ti's that are abnormally low priced? Nope. 400, 430, nope. Nope. There's price fixing right now for the 4060 Ti. So if it goes on a discount during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, it's not gonna be, I don't think, the best deal we've seen all year for it. It's gonna be like what it was during Prime Day. And even then, you still don't want this graphics card. 8 gigabytes of VRAM for $400 is a scam. It's gonna be a waste of your money. It doesn't matter how much DLSS frame generation or ray tracing pizzazz that's in the 4060 Ti, it's got very weak hardware for the price, and the discounts that could come its way for it during Black Friday and Cyber Monday don't look promising at its current price of about $400. Not worth it. Yeah, we gotta do the other one. 4060 Ti, 16 gigabyte. Okay, this one, it's gotta be a Hail Mary. If this thing, the only thing going for this graphics card is that it does technically come with 16 gigabytes of VRAM. It's also a 128-bit memory bus, which is not the greatest. For a cheaper graphics card like the 7600 XT that I just covered earlier, that's fine for 300, but for 450, the other graphics card in this price range, like the 6800 XT, the 7800 XT, and the 6800 all come with 16 gigs of VRAM, but with a 256-bit memory bus. That's the real deal. This is not the real deal when it comes to 16 gigs. That said, I'm looking at prices right now on Newegg and they're at $450. And if I look on Newegg, I think there's also some price fixing going on. Maybe I'm a little bit more hopeful for this 16 gig. There's this MSI model that's already at 430. Maybe we can see this thing dip below 400. So I would say my expected price or my optimistic price after Black Friday and Cyber Monday would have to be 360. If this thing hits 360, screw it, I'll recommend it. But I think it's gonna probably hit like 399 at the greatest. And that still isn't fantastic for this graphics card because AMD just has it beat in this price range. Also, it's still slow. It's especially slower than this graphics card, the 7800 XT, which could very well end up at the same price of the 4060 Ti 16GB after Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Because if we check prices right now, is there any price fixing? How low is the 7800 XT? Oh, already at 470, 480. Okay, this is better than the 7700 XT and better than the 7600 XT. Okay, if we're seeing the 7800 XT $460 3 weeks out, and I saw during Prime Day last month, this GPU went for below 450. I think it went for 430. I think we're also going to see this graphics card go on a really nice discount. So I think we could see this again for 430 because it's been there before, but my optimistic price, my absolute buy this thing no matter what price, is going to be 420. Just a little bit more than 430. And at that point, the sheer amount of hardware you get for the money is too good to pass up. I don't think it matters how much features and tech that could be in an Nvidia card at this price range shouldn't sway you because the sheer hardware, like I said, that comes with the 7800 XT is undeniable. The set you get with this is really excellent. I did a gaming PC build with the 7800 XT. It had zero issues at 1440p gaming, even on Fortnite. And personally, I think it's a little too fast right now for 1440p. So you should be fine 3 years from now if you're to pick up this graphics card. It's a very solid choice now and for a few years, not a few years, I'd say for a few years into the future by 3 or 4. I don't think I need to say any more for the 7800 XT. It's AMD's best RX 7000 GPU, other than another one, but the other one doesn't go on as good of discounts as this one. So in terms of deals, this is the one to definitely look out for. Now I will give Nvidia credit for one more thing, because I think they're gonna do something based. I think they're gonna bring the RTX 4070 original graphics card on a really nice discount. Maybe at $500 on the mark. So if we were to look up the RTX 4070 right now on Amazon, and I gotta be careful with this because they also introduced another 4070 recently, which I think it had some memory downgrades to it. Yeah, so if we look at the 4070 right now, we want the graphics card that comes with 12 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory, not the regular GDDR6, which could be for below $500. But from what I'm looking at on Amazon, I don't see it, so I think you guys will be fine. But this for $450, 3 weeks out, could bode well potentially for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, because I've been waiting to see this graphics card go for $500. It has yet to do that, and this is probably the best time. But even then, I'd still doubt picking it up because you've got the graphics cards we'll be covering in the next price segment only for about $20 to $30 more. That will blow this away in terms of price to performance, but even a discounted 4070 at $500 is going to be still an infinitely better value than any RTX 4060 Ti that could be on sale this Black Friday and Cyber Monday, whether it be the 16 gig or 8 gig model. So this next price segment, I'm gonna go ahead and cover in one go. It's every other graphics card from $500 up to the most expensive, excluding the RTX 4090, because that is going to get replaced by the 5090 in January. You don't wanna buy a 4090 right now. I think they're even cutting production of it. It doesn't matter what kind of discount it's on in Black Friday and Cyber Monday, don't get it. But starting from the cheapest, we've got actually the RX 7900 GRE. So let's see what the price for this is right now, because that'll be a tall tale sign as to what it'll be come Black Friday and Cyber Monday. 530 and 550, 540. Okay, so I think we're gonna see a discount on the RX 7900 GRE, but I don't think it's gonna be as good as the RX 7800 XT. I could be wrong come Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So I would say I expect this GPU to go for at lowest 510, 500, but it would be a seriously good buy if this thing optimistically were about 480, 470. I'm gonna say 470, because if we're gonna see the 7800 XT go for as low as 430 or even 420, this thing cannot be any more than $50 within its price range to be considered a good deal. If this isn't below 500, it's not worth pursuing, because you've got then This other graphics card to the right of me, I'll definitely talk about it later in this price segment, but this is still a fantastic graphics card. It got S tier in my tier list for a reason. It's pretty much the 7800 XT, just a little bit more beefed up, but it's a different core. It's a cut down RX 7900 XT, just renamed as the 7900 GRE, and that has served this graphics card really well in benchmark charts, especially as it's gone down in price. But I don't expect this GPU to go on a seriously good discount, unfortunately. I don't see it happening. I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love to see this go for below 500, like at 480 or 470. Otherwise, the deal of the month is gonna have to go to the 7800 XT, but we'll see come Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I hope the 7900 GRE can deliver in terms of discounts, but what I think absolutely will is gonna be this one, the 7900 XT, because if the 7900 GRE doesn't go below 500, I guarantee you the 7900 XT is gonna be really damn close to 600 bucks, which let's see right now where it stands. 650 on Amazon. What about on Newegg? 650, discounted, 3 weeks out. And I think during Prime Day, let's see. I recorded this not too long ago. The 7900 XT went for $631. So it'll at least reach $631. But my big prediction of this video is that the 7900 XT is gonna hit $600 on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I think of all the RX 7000 GPUs that are selling right now, the 7900 XT is actually having a little bit of difficulty right now, because earlier this year when Nvidia launched their Super Series GPUs, these really injected life into Nvidia's upper end GPU offerings, especially the 4070 Ti Super and 4070 Super. And that has made the 7900 XT kind of put in an awkward spot, because below this you have the 7800 XT, which is a fantastic deal. It's honestly more than what any PC gamer needs, but it's also not as overkill as the 7900 XTX. And this also receives some really good discounts. So I assume buyers who are already spending enough, they're like, why would I settle for the 7900 XT when I can get the 7900 XTX and get that extra VRAM and get that extra performance? Kind of like an upsell tactic. And I think AMD have been noticing that. They've been looking at the sales for the 7900 XT and they're like, by God, we gotta discount this thing even more. And they certainly have, because the MSRP for this card when it launched was $900, which was so off. Way off for when it launched. It should have been $800. And now, about 2 years later, we're getting maybe 600 bucks. So that's almost $300 off MSRP. That's just ridiculous. And at that point, it's a better buy than the 7800 GRE and a better buy than the next graphics card we'll cover in a bit. But just to recap, 20 gigs of VRAM. It's a 4K gaming graphics card. Don't get this thing for 1440p. It's gonna be a waste of money for 1440p because it's so damn fast. Pointless at 1440p. This is a 4K ultra-wide gaming graphics card that isn't as expensive as some of the more expensive ones we'll cover, but still offers the most raw performance, I think, in this price range for the dollar. And 20 gigs of RAM is a lot. And I mean, I think even at $600, if you're looking into ray tracing, I'd still think about this graphics card, even if it's not as good as Nvidia, because at 600 bucks, the sheer raw performance you get is too good. It's way too good. And I think more often than not, you'll find yourself in gaming scenarios where you won't be using ray tracing versus situations where you'll be not using ray tracing and you just want sheer FPS to get the most performance possible. And that's what this graphics card is gonna offer optimistically at $600. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, let's talk about Nvidia for a quick moment. Their offering in this price range is gonna be the 4070 Super, and I think we will see this go on a discount, and I think a nice one at that, but for how much is the bigger question. So let's see what the price is right now, 3 weeks out. On Newegg, they got their search messed up a little bit because I'm looking for the 4070 Super, not the 4070 Ti Super. $630. 600. I've seen this card go for as low as like 560 in the summer. I think there's some price fixing going on Newegg. What about on Amazon? 600, 620, 620. Okay, this Galax, you gotta give props to Galax for one thing. They have the lowest MSRPs of all these Nvidia cards. So Galax, I'm gonna look at this one come Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but as far as the rest, they are kind of fixing the prices a little bit because come Black Friday and Cyber Monday, these for 600 will be like 580. So my expectation for the RTX 4070 Super is that come Black Friday and Cyber Monday, all of these cards are going to be no less than 470, 570. But this Galax card in particular, if this one hits 550, I gotta look into it. But then again, if the 7900 XT is on discount at $600, it's gonna be tough to recommend the 4070 Super because this card, the only thing it really has going for it in this price range is ray tracing and efficiency. Because the 12 gigabytes of VRAM, while nice now, is not nearly as impressive as the, say, 16 or 20 you can find in its AMD counterparts. So I'd really only consider the 4070 Super if you're really into ray tracing. Otherwise, I don't think this thing is gonna get that great of a discount, unlike the next Nvidia card we'll cover in a little bit. But the 4070 Super still is a fantastic graphics card. That doesn't mean it isn't going to be a bad buy. It's just not going to be as good of a buy as these other Radeon cards because I know they're going to go on some serious discounts. I'd like to see the 4070 Super hit 550, but realistically, it's going to probably hit 580, 570, unless Galax pulls something out of the hat, which would be insane, but we'll see come Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So that other Nvidia card, this is the one I'm looking the most forward to come Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and that is the 4070 Ti Super, because historically, all the Super Series cards, the 4070 Ti Super has had, I think, the most periods of time where it's been below MSRP. So I did recall this GPU going for as low as, even here on this community post, $750 on Amazon. And where does it stand right now 3 weeks out? I don't know. Same thing as the 4070 Super. This is at MSRP now. And I can recall many months where the 4070 Ti was comfortably below MSRP without any label of a discount. So that worries me a little bit, but I think we'll see this thing for $750. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be my expected price. But I would really, really love it if the 4070 Ti Super could be exactly $700. That would make the world. That would make this the best Nvidia purchase of this entire video. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we're gonna see this thing hit 750, which is gonna be upsetting because I really think the 7900 XT is going to overshadow the 4070 Ti Super, because if this thing hits 600, which I think it will, that $150 difference between these two GPUs is just gonna come down to if you care about ray tracing or not. Otherwise, in terms of raw performance, even this is gonna be this. That said, I think this is a very well-rounded Nvidia card. It probably is gonna have to get the nod over the 4070 Ti Super simply because this has 16 gigabytes of VRAM. The original 4070 Ti Super only needed more VRAM to be considered an excellent graphics card for its price, and that's what the Super Series edition of this card addressed, and now it's probably Nvidia's most well-rounded graphics card in their lineup. And this is also a 4K gaming graphics card. Again, don't get this for 1440p. It's too damn fast for 1440p. It's a 4K gaming graphics card that can do ray tracing super duper well. And I think if you're looking at Nvidia and you're thinking of spending more than this, wait. Because yes, Nvidia is coming out with a 5080 and 5090 in January. They're gonna be expensive, but I think they're gonna be worth the jump. So this is the most I would spend on an Nvidia graphics card come Black Friday and Cyber Monday, because the 4080 Super is gonna go on a discount, but I don't think it's gonna go for below $1,000. If we check on Newegg and Amazon right now, I think they are maybe slightly fixing the price a little bit. I see this 4080 Super from Gigabyte maybe actually being a decent deal right now, being $1,000 3 weeks out. But on Amazon, actually, no, that's not too bad. You know, the 4080 Super could actually receive a really nice discount come Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I just think the issue is you should wait for the 5080. It's gonna be a ginormous step up over the 4080 Super, even if it retails for about $1,300 or $1,400 or 1200 if Nvidia wants to be generous. It's gonna be worth it. I think you're reaching the point of diminishing returns for this graphics card. I hope that the 5080 is good on paper. We'll see at CES in January next year, but I mean, I expect the 4080 Super to hit at least $950, but I'd really love it if this graphics card were to go below $900. If that were to happen, actually, you know what? I think I probably would put it on my best deals list, because at that point, I mean, if the 5080 is a disappointment in terms of specs, you could have gotten the 4080 Super on a gnarly discount for below 900. A few months earlier. I think that would especially be a disappointment if the 5080, if like what the rumors suggest, comes with 16 gigabytes of VRAM and not like 20 or 24. That'd be a huge disappointment and would make the 4080 Super look good. But again, I don't know. I'd hope Nvidia bring more VRAM. I'd hope, but we'll see. So if this goes below 900, insta buy it. But I don't know if that's gonna happen because the final graphics card in this tier list, oh my God, it's late. In this GPU buyer's guide video, it's gonna have to be the 7100 XTX, and this one is gonna go out with a bang because according to rumors, AMD is probably not gonna target the higher end GPU market for their RX 8000 GPUs. The most extravagant thing they're probably gonna put out is gonna be an RX 8800 XT, which is gonna retail for around $500. So they're not gonna bring any new higher end GPUs, which means the 7100 XTX is going to be a bit of a unicorn. If we check right now, let's look. It's $950 with a $20 off promo code, so about $930, 3 weeks out. This is $930, 3 weeks out. Oh, okay. Okay, XFX, I see you. Okay, I see you. Let's look at this community post. You could have gotten a 7900 XTX for $788 on Prime Day last month. Okay, let's think about that. So this will see at least a $100 reduction in price. We're at least gonna see these for $788, but I think AMD are gonna look at that 4070 Ti Super deal and be like, screw it, we're beating that. We're gonna one-up that. They're gonna put the 7900 XTX, I think, at $750 come Black Friday and Cyber Monday. That is going to be the final hurrah for this high-end graphics card. And if you do not care much about ray tracing, this is gonna be, I think, a savior. I think a lot of people are gonna regret not getting this graphics card if they're an average PC gamer who cares more about rasterization and just FPS per dollar over ray tracing. And a lot of those gamers are going to sorely miss out on getting this graphics card come Black Friday and Cyber Monday because it offers the most FPS per dollar in this upper price segment. 24 gigabytes of VRAM is very hard to come by nowadays because the only other graphics card that offers this same amount of VRAM is going to be the RTX 4090. And the next one that could offer that much later in the future is going to be the RTX 5090, which hopefully will be 32 or 24 because the 5080 is probably not gonna be 24 or 20. So this is gonna be one of the only other graphics cards that offers this amount of VRAM, that is this fast, that is gonna be on as good of a discount as it will be come Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So all around, I mean, RX 7000 in the higher end segment is definitely worth looking to. RX 6000 is gonna be worth looking into for the middle range, and for below, it's a mix. It could be Intel Arc, it could be AMD, but overall, Nvidia, I don't think they're gonna bring any serious deals come Black Friday and Cyber Monday, other than the 4070 Ti Super, but I really hope that thing goes on a nice discount because it is their most well-rounded graphics card. And that is the end of this video, and I appreciate you guys for sticking it to the end, and if you did, give it a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. And if you enjoy these kinds of GPU buyer's guide videos, then you might want to subscribe because I'm going to be putting out a few more between now and the end of the year. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and this is the ScatterVolt channel, signing out.